Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dale's. My name is Dale. I'm so happy that you joined me today. I was not planning on doing a video today. I was actually not planning on doing a video until the new year, and the lighting is really weird here. I'm having some difficulty with this lighting. Anyway, I wasn't really planning on doing a video until, first, second week of January. However, we've had quite the week, and I wanted to share that with you. But before I do, I just wanted to say welcome to everybody. Welcome to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are watching this and you're not a subscriber, please think about subscribing and joining our little community here. We are a bunch of really nice people. Anyway, I have to tell you what's been going on. We've had a really nice, quiet Christmas. Everything was just wonderful until the 29th. You all know about Chip, my bird. He's a 13-year-old green cheek conure. And I've had him from the time he was just hatched, actually. We bought him from a breeder in Winnipeg, and I've had him ever since then. Wonderful little pet, love him to death. Well, on the 29th, I decided it was the day to clean the cage, and his cage is a great big square cage, and I usually just take the top off. I can remove it. I can remove the whole top of the cage and just have the tray left. So I did that, and I put the cage down on the floor, and then I just dump all of the stuff, whatever seeds and stuff from the tray, into a garbage bag. Well, I did that, and I went to pick up the tray and noticed there was an egg in the bottom of the tray on the grate. I freaked out, and I mean freaked out. I'm not a freaking out type of person, but I really freaked out. I could not believe what I was seeing. I just kept staring at the bird and thinking, where did this come from? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I finished cleaning the cage, and I put it back. I took the egg out because it was actually cracked. It actually must have fallen. Anyhow, I still can't quite wrap my head around this whole thing. Anyway, put the cage back, put the bird back, and just totally panicked, freaked right out. So I didn't know what to do. I had no clue. I'm not a novice bird keeper. I've had birds all my life, usually cockatiels. I've had quite a few cockatiels and have had them to advanced ages of 22, 23 years. So I know what I'm doing with birds, but I've never had a female bird, and I've never wanted a female bird. I've only ever wanted males for this very reason. And I thought I had a male, but apparently I don't. So I got on Google first thing, and no, that's not the first thing. First thing I did, I texted Jonathan, and of course he gets on Google and he starts reading me all this nonsense, scared me half to death. And I got off of FaceTime with him because he was making it worse, actually. And I went on Google, and I was finding all the same stuff. So I contacted my cousin who has a green cheek conure, asked her if she's ever had it. She's got other birds. She's even got an Amazon. And she said, nope, never had a bird that laid an egg. She couldn't help me. She had a few suggestions, but she couldn't really say one way or the other. So I thought I would try and find the breeder that I bought this from. So that was in Winnipeg. I was living in Winnipeg, and I bought it from a breeder who was in Winnipeg. And I had an email address, so I sent off an email, and it came back. So I knew that she was not around or changed her email or whatever. So I was still in such a panic mode that I decided to go on Facebook and see if there were any exotic bird in Manitoba, any exotic bird groups, and I found one, and her name popped up on this thing. She had posts on there, and I thought, oh, okay. And I had her last name a little bit different, so I wasn't quite sure, but her first name was a name that not very many people have. So I was thinking maybe this is her. And there was a thing, I went on her post and there was a thing there where you could send a message. So I sent a message and I explained who I was and da 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 da. She replied and she said, "Yeah, that's me." Oh, I was so excited. But this is the kicker. She was living in Winnipeg and I was living in Winnipeg. Do you know where she lives now? She lives about 15 minutes away from me in the next town over. That freaked me out because how does this happen? Here I am, like, I mean, this was just all too do for me. Anyway, we had a nice long chat and she has put my mind to rest so much. I am so thankful that I connected with her because she's told me what I needed to know to relax and just be okay with all of this. But the biggest problem that we're having is dealing with the fact that he isn't he anymore. We just can't stop calling him he, and I'm sure this is going to take a while. And I think in some level, well, maybe not now, but at first we were actually treating him differently too. But prior to all of this happening, Chip was acting really, really strange. He's always been a really quiet bird, friendly, never bit. Well, he bit if you know, interrupted his sleep or stuff like that. But, he's been a really nice bird. And for the last 6 to 8 weeks, he's been acting just crazy, screeching, yelling, biting. I would go to rub his neck and he just like, just take a hunk right out of my hand. Never did that before. So we were getting a little frustrated with him, not understanding what had changed. And so she explained to me that, oh, and the other thing is, Chip, from the time we got him, I had made him a little tent bed, and that's the only thing that bird has ever slept in at night. He does not sleep on a stick. He sleeps in his bed, usually on his back, to be honest with you, with his feet up. That freaked me out. The first time I saw that, I thought, oh my God, my bird died. But that's how he sleeps, on his back. Anyway, she said, get rid of the tent. You got to get rid of anything that makes the bird comfortable to begin with. So the tent had to go. The other thing is he loves these stringy things that anything that has a bell and then a bunch of strings. So I was making him these out of any kind. Anytime I had dishcloth yarn left over, I would braid it and I make all these things, and he loved those things. Well, I noticed a couple of weeks ago that he was pulling the one that I had made inside his tent and shredding it. And I just thought he was just chewing. I didn't really think anything of it, but I guess that is a nesting instinct. So she said to me, you have to remove anything soft, cuddly, or shreddable out of the cage to begin with. So the bed had to go, his toys had to go, because most of them had stringy things on. She says, make sure any paper at the bottom of your cage has a grate over it, and make sure it's down far enough that he can't get it with, or she can't get it with her beak and pull it up and shred it. No covers. Well, he's never been covered because he goes in a tent, so we've never ever put a cover. But she says, don't cover because they can shred that. So I'm thinking, now the cage is completely stripped. There's nothing in there. And I was worrying, where's the bird going to sleep? But actually, for the last 2 nights, she has slept on the stick like a normal bird. The other thing that I have been doing is, because Chip had a really heavy molt, I have been giving it egg supplement, and I do boil an egg and give it to her. This is going to take a while, routinely anyway. She says, stop all the egg. So she said it's the hormones get ramped up and they need the egg. The egg just feeds that hormone inside them to produce an egg. And she said the shredding and that, it's just a nesting thing. It all is hormones, just like for us women. It's just hormones, bloody hormones, right? So she says you have to do things that don't fuel that. So take all that stuff away. So I've done all that. The other thing she said, you have to make sure it's dark an hour before normal. So I've been shoving his cage in our bedroom and shutting the door. The dark, lights are off, and it's just a whole different thing. But what she did tell me was it is a cycle, just like it is with any female. It's not going to last. It will go away. And she says, if the bird's not comfortable, if you make the bird a little uncomfortable, chances are she won't lay any more eggs. He, not a she. Anyway, so this is what I've been dealing with, and it's been a really rough few days. Honestly, both of us we're really wigged out about this. It's getting better, but it's still, and I'm finding myself watching every little move Chip makes now, just to make sure, like if it turns out, is there going to be an egg dropping? So I think what happened was she laid an egg in the bed, in the tent, and it must have fallen down onto the grating and open. And she keeps going down there and looking, because I took it out because it was broken. I guess I should have left it in there. They say if you leave the egg where they can look at it, they will realize that it's not going to do anything, and eventually they'll lose interest and they'll quit. But it was broken, so I knew it would go kind of funny. Yeah, so that's been our end of our year. Just kind of really shook us up big time. I have done no crafting. Well, no, that's not true. I've started a new project, which is actually been on my radar for 2 or 3 years. I'm doing a collage of our dog Molly, who we put down 7 years ago. She was blind, she was old, she had cancer. And I've always wanted to do this, and I drew out the dog. The collage is from the chest up. I drew it out probably 2-3 years ago, and it's been hanging up on my little hanging thing over here all this time. I've made the copies, and I've done nothing with it. And I was doing some cleaning. I actually cleaned up my studio too, and I unearthed these, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I want to do it. So yeah, we that's what I've been working on. I have not finished my stitching journal. Not even interested in working on it right now, so I'm sorry, but that's not going to be the first video you see in the new year, because I really don't feel like stitching right now. I want to get this collage going, and I want to get it done. So I think that's what I'm going to be working on in the next week or so. Speaking of the collage, I'm going to take you over there now, and I'm going to show you what I'm started. And it's just a start. I just started this yesterday, and I have to sort through my blue jeans. I'm going to do it in blue jeans as well. And I think I might have to source out some lighter colored jeans maybe, or maybe I'll have to bleach some. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to take you over there and show you, and then I will be back after. So this is my drawing, and I've made 4 copies of this drawing, because what I do now, after I've made the drawing and I make copies, then I start cutting it up, and I layer, starting from the back layer all the way to the front. I do it in dimensions, just like I would when I used to do paper towel. I don't know if you're familiar with paper towel, but it's a 3D layering of a print. And I've got one here. I'm going to show it to you, just to give you the idea of what I'm talking about with this collage piece. So this is a paper towel piece that I did years ago. I used to do a lot of this. And it's 3-dimensional. If you can see, I've got the camera angled in a funny way, just so that you can see that it is 3D. It's got layers. So this part here, the water, and the back, the sky, that would have been just a flat, just one print, not cut at all. And then you start cutting things out. So the next layer would have been the house and the boat. You'd start cutting the boat, but you would cut the back part. This would have been the 3rd cut. That would have been the 2nd, And then, for instance, here, you would have put the deck, you would have cut all of this out as your second part. And then the third cut would have been the boy. And then the fourth cut would have been this part here. Same with this. This would have been, all of this would have been the second cut. The third cut would have been all of this. The fourth cut would have been this. And the fifth cut would have been that. So you're building it from the back up. And that's how you get this three-dimensional look. And I'm doing the exact same thing with this. So I would cut, well, I'm not going to, it's a little different with this because I don't want to waste fabric. So I'm going to cut bigger pieces. So I cut this as one piece, this as one piece here. This whole thing would be one piece. This would be one piece. And then this would all be one piece. And then the next cut I do would be, this would be one piece. This would be one piece. I would cut this part here as another piece. I'm not even talking about the ears yet. And then the next piece after that would be the eye, and then this lip, and you just keep pulling it back, pulling it forward. And you do it with fabric the exact same way as you would do it with paper. And that's how I do my collages. Everybody does theirs differently. Artists will tell me that I'm doing it all wrong, but I do it how I do it, and I like my results. And so, yeah, this is how I'm going to do it. And this is as far as I've gotten. You can see that I'm just cutting pieces. Nothing is being attached right now. And I have one of my copies under here just so I can see where my placements are going. So I'm just starting to cut pieces. I've just cut this one piece here. And then see how I've put another piece on top? And then the eye will go on top of that. So there's your third layer. 1, 2, and then the eye will be 3. And you just keep building it forward. Now, the other thing about this is I look for instance, where's the other, here, we'll pull this one over. The fur is jig-jaggedy. You know, you're not going to cut one piece jig-jaggedy. So what I do is I look for something that has a jig-jaggedy edge that I can use as fur. So, for instance, this is part of the bottom of a blue jean, and it's perfect for using on. I will try and find enough of this to go all the way around here, and then I think there's more down here, and there's a bit down here, a tuft. So I will try and find fabric that has what I'm looking for. This might not be long enough. I do have another piece here that's probably a lot better, and I think I will probably use this. And then the other thing I have to be aware of is the colors of the blue jeans themselves. You don't want to put the same color here as here. You need to have a contrast. So you're always trying to find the contrast so that you're not, if you don't have the contrast, it disappears. You don't see your layers. So it's kind of a challenge, but it's one that I actually really do enjoy. So I'm trying to find, I'm going through, I got a huge scrap bag of jeans, and a lot of them are actually too small. I might have to take a walk down to our recycle and see if I can find some really washed out ones, because I want some really light colors, as like even lighter than this. I want some really bleached out ones. I could actually just take and bleach some. The other thing you can do with blue jeans is you can turn them down to the back side. The back side is awful, is mostly, on most of them, the back side will be lighter than the front. So you can do that too. See there, that piece, I could actually reverse this denim and use this side for something too, and I might do that. So yeah, this is what I've started on, and I'm going to be playing with this for a while. I think this is what I'm going to be working on for quite a while. Once I get the colors and stuff, it'll go fast. And then what I decided to do, usually I do this. I mark it down and I get all my pieces cut, but then I usually adhere it right to the back fabric. But I think for this one, I don't want to have, usually I have, when I do a blue jean one, I do it on a neutral fabric. But this time I thinking I want to do it on a colored fabric, maybe a batik or something. So because I don't know for sure what I want to use for my back, I'm just going to attach it to this scrap piece of fabric, and then I will cut the whole thing and quilt it right onto my backing fabric. That's how I'm going to do it. And I do quilt this when it's all pieced on here, then I do quilt it onto something, and then I frame it. So this is what I'm up to. And I'm really looking forward to spending some time up here just playing around with this. It's a very enjoyable thing to do. And I finally feel like I want to do Molly. I'm ready to do Molly. So that is what we're doing. I actually did spend a couple of days, and I did clean my studio quite a bit. There's still some things hanging around, and I brought my plant stand up because, you know, that time is coming. Not anytime soon, but I brought my amaryllis up here because they were starting to really fall over. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, they're drying. They're dying down now. I only have one flower really left, and I need to water them. And my poinsettia, pretty much, I transplanted it into a bigger pot, but I think I'm just going to cut it down and throw it out. It's not looking hot at all. Yeah, so it's nice to have a work surface again. This was so messed up from Vlogmas, and everything was just such a terrible mess, but it's much better now. So there you go. That has been the end of my year, and I hope you're all doing okay. I hope everybody had a really nice Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. And once again, I want to thank you for all your love and support through Vlogmas. It was hard to do, but it was enjoyable as well. And I really did enjoy all your comments and all your beautiful comments that you made about everything, music and whatever else we were doing. You made it worthwhile for me to do that. So thank you very much. So I want to wish you all a very happy new year. Please stay healthy, and we will see you here again in a week or so. And maybe I'll have a finished collage to show you, or maybe I'll have something else. Who knows? But for sure, I'll have a female bird. Bye, everybody. See you later. Happy New Year.